Bond Court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond Court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
Give me just a moment.
Thank you.
Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Peggy Dean Cotton Bennett.
Okay, give me just a moment.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you this morning?
I'm not doing too well.
Okay, do you think you're going to need a public defender to help you with your case, Miss Bennett?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender in case 2022.
But I can talk right now
Well, hold on a
for
second.
myself.
You said you want an attorney. I'm going to give you a bond on this case.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Or state have you been in contact with the victim?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Cotton, good morning. You're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence. To your left is your attorney. She's a public defender. State, do you want to be heard on release conditions or?
Your Honor, defendant qualifies for pretrial release. I have no objection to pretrial release.
I see that there's a battery DV conviction in her history. How long ago was that, and is it the same victim?
One moment.
30.
Thank you.
Your Honor, without further research, I can't find it. It wasn't in Orange County.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to, there are some issues that are noted in the affidavit. I do find probable cause for this offense. Do you know if she wants pretrial release or monetary bond?
Pretrial release, Your Honor.
I'm going to put you on pretrial release, ma'am. You need to have no contact with the victim. You must maintain a separate residence. You cannot live where the victim is living. Allow a one-time return. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. Weapons are to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release. Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Latoya Holt is next.
Yes, please. I'll wear glasses. Thank you.
Ms. Holt, you're here for case number 2022 CF1391AO. You're facing a felony charge for neglect of a child. Probable cause has been found. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
No.
All right, do you plan to hire your own attorney, represent yourself?
She's supposed to be here, but I don't see
What is her name?
her. Miss Glover.
Ms. Glover Gamble?
Miss Glover.
Okay, I don't have any notes on that, but can we put her towards the back of the line to see if her attorney shows?
It might, and Your Honor, it might be because it was in second session, so she may have
That's
got.
kind of what I'm thinking too. Can we roll her to section 2 if that's easier? What do you want to do? Okay, we'll roll her to session 2. Thank you. And I got to start scanning. Yes, ma'am. The next person is Omar Nicholas, Santo De Leon. I'm going to go to Spanish interpreter now.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter and previously sworn.
Ms. Arroyo, can you please do a sound check with his headphones?
Yes, Your Honor. 1 second, please. He can hear me, but if I could ask the correctional officer to have him move closer to one of the podium mics there.
Sí.
Thank you. Much better.
Sir, what is your name?
Elmer Nicolás Cinto de León.
Elmer Nicolás Cinco de Leon.
Cinto.
Cinto.
Thank you. 2022 MM 1231AO. Mr. Santo De Leon, do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
Sería mejor.
That would be best.
I'll appoint a public defender to help you with your case. I do find probable cause you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. I'm going to give you a monetary bond of $500. You're not to possess any weapons. If you do have any, they need to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case. You cannot contact her even for the purposes of the children. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return. Contact the police department and have them escort you to the house. You cannot go back there by yourself. Mr. Santo De Leon, do you have any questions?
No.
No.
Thank you. Next case is 2022 MM
Your Honor,
122AO. Yes, state.
in the previous case, Mr. Santo De Leon's DCF was contacted, so I would ask that he abide by any DCF plan.
Su señoría, en el caso anterior se pusieron en comunicación con el Departamento de Familias y Menores, por lo tanto solicito que él se acate a cualquier plan que ellos hayan pedido.
In addition, you need to comply with the Department of Children and Families plan.
Entonces, adicionalmente, señor, tendrá usted que cumplir con el plan que le dé el Departamento de Familias y Menores.
¿Puedo preguntar una pregunta? Disculpe.
Am I allowed to ask a question?
You do have an attorney. Just a reminder, all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you.
Usted tiene abogado y, por lo tanto, como recordatorio, sepa que todo está siendo grabado aquí hoy día y podrá ser utilizado en su contra.
Madam Interpreter, could you please advise the client, I handed him a form with the contact number for his attorney. If he has any questions about the facts of the case, I would suggest he wait to speak to his attorney one-on-one.
La licenciada le ha entregado a usted un formulario con el número de contacto del abogado. Por lo tanto, si usted tiene alguna pregunta con respecto a los hechos de este caso, le aconseja que por favor espere y hable de ello uno a uno con su abogado.
State, for the next case, Ortiz Carry-on, let me know if there's any indication of cohabitation.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Please tell me what your name is.
Joángel Ortiz. Joángel Ortiz.
Joe Angel Ortiz.
22 MM 1222AO. You were arrested for battery dating violence. I do find that there is probable cause. State any objection to pretrial release.
No objection, Your Honor.
I'm going to put you on pretrial release. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Sí.
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. You'll be released today. Unless there's any holds, you're to have no contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons. If you own any, they must be surrendered to the police department within 5 hours. Thank you, Mr. Ortiz Carry-on. Warrants, I'll get with you. Just let me get through the interpreter case.
No worries, no worries.
Sorry about that. Next case is 2022 MM 124AW. Are you Mr. Ramirez Quintano?
Ramirez Cataño.
Ramirez Cataño.
Sí.
Thank you. Sir, you're here for a charge of battery with elements of domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Sí.
Yes.
I'll appoint a lawyer to help you. I'm setting your bond at $500. You're to have no contact. With the victim of this case, last name Rodriguez. You must live separately. If you need to collect some belongings, I'll give you a one-time return. You must be accompanied by a police officer. And you also are not to possess any weapons. Weapons are to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release to the police department. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, sir. What is your name?
Shaquille Carino Maisonet.
Yaril Carino Maisonet.
You were placed on probation for an offense that was alleged to have occurred on April 16th of 2020. It is alleged that you violated your probation by committing an offense of possession of weapon during commission of a felony, attempted tampering with physical evidence, and possession of counterfeit controlled substance. These acts were alleged to have occurred on January 25th of this year. In addition to those offenses, it's alleged that you committed an offense of possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and that you left the county and your place of residence without the consent of your probation officer. You're being held at no bond. Do you need a lawyer from the public defender's office to help you with your case?
Sí.
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. And that's all for the Spanish interpreter. Thank you, Ms. Arroyo.
Your Honor, can I please have the case number before I disconnect?
2020 CF 4734, and I apologize for the oversight.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ready? Madam Court Reporter, we were having problems yesterday. I was on green. I'm hoping you can hear me, but they thought I was on mute. And I've been scanning and announcing the case number, so I'm not sure what's your last name, sir?
Rahimov.
And your case number is 2022 CF 2146A. Sir, do you want a public defender to help you with your crime,
Yes.
your charges? I'll appoint a public defender. Sir, I find probable cause for battery domestic violence. Count 2, battery domestic violence by strangulation. And count 3, false imprisonment. Ma'am, good morning. Can you please raise your right hand? I'll have you sworn in.
Good morning. I can't hear you well.
You cannot hear me well?
Not.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
You need to answer out loud, please.
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Alina Novitska.
And ma'am, can you please tell me how you know the defendant?
I've known him for a while. He used to be a friend of my ex-husband.
Are you in a romantic relationship?
Yes, we were.
And at the time of this offense, were you living together?
No, we were not.
Do you want to have contact with this defendant?
No, please.
And do you know if he owns any weapons?
I don't know.
Were alcohol or drugs involved?
No, there were not.
I noticed that the location is a near a child care facility. Do you have any children with this defendant?
No, we don't. And the child care facility he chose, he wanted to talk to me. I insisted him to be at home, and he said no home. So that was the closest spot behind the gate, because I live in the gated community.
So I have two attorneys, an attorney for the government, the state attorney, as well as his attorney. They have an opportunity to ask you questions. State, any questions?
Nothing from the state.
Anything from defense?
No questions, Your Honor. Your Honor, he does qualify for pretrial release. I would ask for pretrial release, given his history.
Ma'am, the report says that there was drinking involved. Do you know if he drinks regularly?
Sometimes.
Okay, so no. And what about any drug use, whether it's prescription or illegal drugs?
Prescription.
Okay. I'll give him pretrial release on the battery and the battery by strangulation. However, in the false imprisonment, I am going to set his bond at $2,000. So $2,000 plus pretrial release. Sir, can you afford a $2,000 bond?
No, I cannot.
You cannot? Do you work?
Yes, I do.
And how many dependents do you have?
Nobody.
What is your weekly or how often are you paid?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, what is your take-home pay?
$800.
Do you have any banking accounts?
Yes, I do.
And do you have money in those bank
I
accounts?
do not.
I'll modify that bond to $1,000 on the false imprisonment plus pretrial release. Sir, you're to have no contact with the victim of this case. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. All weapons need to be surrendered to the police department within 3 hours of your release from jail. No contact means no calling, texting, third-party contact, sending her messages in writing or anything of the such. And you're also not allowed to possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, do you have any questions for me? He is entitled to bond, but I did give him those conditions.
No, I do not.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. Thank you,
you.
sir. Yes.
Okay, and then no arguing or anything, just
Yes, thank you. Courtney Robinson. Good morning. Are you Miss Robinson?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Robinson, you're here for felony case number 2022 CF 2122AO for a charge of battery by strangulation. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender to help you with your case. Based on your low history, state any objection to a $1,000 bond.
No objection.
I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. You're to have no contact with the co-defendant, victim, Jamar Jarvis. You must maintain separate residence. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to the police department. I see that you and the victim live at the same address. Again, he can stay, you cannot, but I will allow for a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. And do you need a public defender?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. A public defender is appointed. Any weapons need to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release. Mahaya Bell?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, are you Miss Bell? You're here for 2020, the case number is 2022 MM 1230AO. Ma'am, you were arrested for a charge of battery, domestic violence, and I do find that there's probable cause for that. Give me a moment. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint a public defender to assist you. All right, here are the conditions of your release. You need to live separately from the victim. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release, and I'm going to set your bond at $500. The PD's office is appointed.
No contact, Your Honor?
Oh, I'm sorry, no contact with the victim. Defense, can you step back actually? I see you just relocated here last week. Are you planning on staying here or going back to South Carolina? You just want to go back to South Carolina? Okay. I have no objection to her leaving the counties for purposes of relocating, but you do need to stay in contact with your public defender. That is your job. They don't need to track you down. You need to stay in touch with them, okay? Good luck to you, Ms. Bell. Can she afford a $500 bond? $500 bond, if you use a bonds person, is $100.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Can you start by telling me your name, please?
Kirsten Marie Branham.
Case number 2022 MM 125AW. Ma'am, you're here for a charge of violation of a domestic violence injunction. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
No,
Do you plan to hire your own attorney or represent yourself?
I have an attorney.
All right, and I'll give you monetary bond of $500. You're not to possess any weapons. Any weapons need to be surrendered within 3 hours of your release. You need to abide by all conditions of the injunction and no contact with the victim. Good luck to you. Wait for your paperwork. Patrick Ching is next.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. What is your name?
Patrick Chang.
Mr. Chang, give me a moment to address your case. Your case number is 2022 MM1212AO.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please
All right.
state your name for the record.
Fonny Joman.
Mr. Chang, you were
Yes.
arrested for battery and assault. Both of these are domestic in nature. Do you want a public defender to appoint to help you with your case? That's a lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I do find probable cause.
Yes.
Ms. Chang, I'm sorry, ma'am, he is entitled to some form of release, but I need to talk to you about what conditions there are to be. Are you, how do you know Mr. Chang?
We are married for almost 24 years.
Were you living together at the time of this incident?
Yes,
Do you want to continue to live together?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're living together, but I can order that he have no return to the home except for one time just to collect some belongings and pack a bag. What do you feel most comfortable with? Do you want him to return home? Yes or no? He can't answer the question for you. Do you need a few minutes to talk to one of the attorneys from the state attorney's office?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a brief recess in a couple of minutes. Ma'am, have a seat. We'll take a brief recess shortly. Let's go ahead and get through the domestics, and then I'll take a brief recess. I'll recall Mr. Ching.
Thank you.
The next person I'm addressing is Darius Fudge. Mr. Fudge, good morning. You're here for case number 2022 MM1229AO. You're here for a charge of battery, domestic violence. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of a public defender. I do find probable cause. You're not allowed to have any contact with the victim. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. You must maintain a separate residence. If you know, and you're not to have any contact with the victims. If you own any weapons, weapons need to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release from jail. Again, you must live separately. You are entitled to a bond. How long have you been living in Orlando?
My whole life.
Okay. Who are you living with?
Auntie, grandma. I was pretty much bouncing around.
Okay. How old are you?
18 years old.
Let me figure something out. Based on your history, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. Keep in mind there may be a pickup order for a violation of community control or probation in Orange County. You're to have no contact with the victim. Again, maintain a separate residence. No weapons. Weapons to be surrendered, as I said, within 3 hours. Thank you, sir. The next person is Marvin Hart. Mr. Hart, your case number is 2022 MM1205AO. Mr. Hart, do you need a public defender to help you with your criminal charges?
Yes, ma'am.
I do find probable cause for the charge of battery domestic violence. Based on your history, I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. You're to have no contact with the victim, must maintain a separate residence, and you can't go where she lives, works, or is known to frequent. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. Mr. Hart, do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Your Honor, I would also ask for no drugs, no alcohol.
Give me a moment. Sir, I'm also going to order that you not possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs or any alcohol. Do you understand that, Mr. Hart?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Next case number is for Bibi Ronin. Case number 2022 MM1211AO. Good morning. Can you tell me what your name is?
Bibi Ronin.
Okay, do you want a public defender that's a lawyer to help you with your case? I'll go ahead and appoint the services. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry.
Okay, let me go ahead and just speak with you. I find probable cause for the offense of an assault. I'm going to go ahead and give you a bond. The bond in this case is going to be $500. You're to have no
I'm homeless. How could I be bond?
Okay, you don't qualify for pretrial release. You have an attorney. You have an attorney. She can answer your questions after I speak with you. Your bond is $500. You're to have no contact with the victim. You're not to possess any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. Yes, you're to have no contact with your mom. You can't go to her house unless you have a police officer. You must maintain a separate residence. I'll allow a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer to assist you with this case. In the alternative, if she qualifies for mental health pretrial release, I'll have her screened and with the same conditions. Next case is Leonzo Thompson, 2022 MM1232AO. Are you Mr. Thompson? Good morning. Are you Mr. Thompson?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you need a public defender to help you with your case? That's a public defender is a lawyer. If you want a lawyer but feel you can't afford one, I can see if you qualify for the public defender services.
No, ma'am.
You don't want one? Can you afford a $500 bond?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to set your bond at $500 with the following conditions. You must comply with Department of Children and Family. You're to have no contact with the victim in this matter. You must maintain a separate residence. You're not allowed to have any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 3 hours of your release. It's my understanding you do not live together. Is that correct?
We don't have the same residency, but we kind of do live together.
Do you have a place that you call? I understand that you may be spending the night. Do you have your own place to stay?
Yes, ma'am.
And she stays separately.
She stays with me, usually.
Does she have her own place? Because she has a different residence listed on here.
That's her mom's residence, which is, yes, ma'am.
Okay, wherever she's living, you can't go to. You must maintain a separate residence. If she's staying there, I'll allow you to have a one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. You're not allowed to possess any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered within 5 hours of your release from jail. Do you have any questions?
No.
Anything else, state?
Nothing from
Or defense?
Nothing from defense.
Thank you. Discarded. He said he could afford it. Sir, what is your name?
Jason Vasquez.
Mr. Vasquez, your case number is 2022 MM1207AO. Mr. Vasquez, you were arrested for a charge of battery domestic violence. Do you plan to hire your own attorney, represent yourself, or do you want a public defender?
A public defender.
I'll appoint a public defender to help you with this case. Does he want monetary bond or PTR? Is no priors.
You're on a pretrial release.
State any objection?
No objection.
Sir, I'm going to place you on pretrial release with the following conditions. No contact with victim Vasquez. You must maintain a separate residence. She can stay. You cannot go back there except for the one-time return as long as you're accompanied by a police officer. You're not allowed to have any weapons. If you own any weapons, they do need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. And again, just that no contact order. Thank you, Mr. Vasquez. Oh, and they're not redacted?
Right.
Okay, that's what's slowing. Yeah, I can't, What's your name? Good morning, ma'am. Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Valencia Vincent.
Case number 2022 MM1226AO. You're here for a charge of battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause. Do you need a lawyer from the public defender's office to help you with your case, Ms. Vincent?
Yes, please.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. How long do you live in Orlando?
6 years.
Is she gonna qualify for pretrial release?
Qualify.
PD's office, can you ask her if she wants PTR or monetary bond?
Your Honor, I would ask for a $500 bond in this case.
Ma'am, I'm going to set your bond at $500. You're to have no contact with the victim. You're not to go to where the victim resides. No weapons. If you do own any, they must be surrendered within 3 hours of your release from jail and comply with the investigation of the Department and Children and Families. Anything else, Ms. Vincent?
No.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next cases are out-of-county warrants. I'm going to take a 5-minute recess so you can speak with the witness on the Ching matter. I'll recall it. Off mic.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
Okay, here are the conditions. No contact with any victims, co-defendants, or witnesses. No return to any Walmart in the United States of America. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, and you're not to possess, use, or consume any alcohol or any illegal drugs.
Your Honor, my client is currently unemployed. However, she can't afford a $1,000 bond, Your Honor. I would just ask if you would consider reducing the bond to $1,000 in this case. Looks like the last conviction was in 2018.
Give me a second.
Let me ask you this.
What are her ties to the community? Give me something, please, to consider on that.
Yes, nobody touch it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
The statute and the rule, what are her ties to the community to ask for, to support a bond reduction? And state what are the facts of the case, if you know.
I see she was in Jacksonville, Your Honor.
Florida all my life. I've been in jail for 8 days.
No, how long have you been in
All my life.
Where?
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
State,
I'm looking, Your Honor.
defense.
Your Honor, she has lived in Florida her entire life. She's been from Jacksonville to Orlando, and she's been here. It says Jacksonville 3 months to a year, but she states that she's been back and forth from Jacksonville. So she does live in Florida, and her last failure to appear was all the way back in 2014.
Miss Bell, what's your address?
That's only because I didn't have a ride.
Hey, Miss Bell, it's not for a failure to appear. What's her, what's your address in Apopka?
Right now,
Where can you get mail?
5315 Amazon Avenue, Jacksonville, Florida.
Your arrest paperwork says an Apopka address. What's at 1122 Darity Street?
That's where my son lives. I can get mail there too.
Okay, you need to go do a change of address. If you're not, right now what we have on file is the Apopka address.
Okay.
It's your job to do a change of address. State, give me some information, please.
On May 9th of 2020, defendant with 2 co-defendants was observed via CCTV, failing to scan all merchandise at the checkout. Defendants then passed all points of sale and attempted to exit the store without paying for the
Value of
merchandise.
items?
The value of the merchandise was $245.84.
I'll grant that request, modifying it to $1,000 with the same conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mm. 2022 CF 2141AO. Next defendant's name is Lilly, Christopher Lilly. I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I do find probable cause for this offense. Defense state, he is entitled to a bond, don't you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, based on his lack of history, I'm going to set his bond at, these are, what? Yes, waiving his appearance, thank you. Based on the facts of the case, I'm going to set bond at $2,500. No contact with the victim, no return to the scene of the crime, and not to possess any weapons. The next person is Aaron Lofton, 2022 CF 2129.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Good afternoon, sir. You're
Good
here
afternoon,
for
all of you on the panel and everyone here.
Just a reminder, all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lofton, you're here for a serious felony charge. Would you like a public defender to help you with your case?
I would just like to explain it to the judge.
Well, let me slow you down. I am the judge, and I'll take your explanation. If you want to give it to me, your statements can be used against you. My first question for you is, do you want a lawyer?
I don't think I need one.
Okay, well, just a reminder, all of your statements are being recorded. You're arrested for a charge of robbery with a deadly weapon. I find probable cause. State, do you want, this is a PBL, do you want him held at no bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, can I please speak?
Are you
before
sure you don't want to speak through an attorney?
Okay, I'll speak to the attorney first.
All right.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I'll appoint the public defender.
And I also like,
Why don't you switch spots? Let me go ahead and take Latoya Holt.
Oh, okay, thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, counsel.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, I'm Attorney Merrill Glover Gambles. I represent Latoya Holt.
Okay, Ms. Holt, you're here for your first appearance for neglect of a child. This is pursuant to a probable cause order. It's straight pretrial release, right? All right, do you want to be heard as to her release conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, what kind of release are you looking for?
Your Honor, she appears not to qualify for pretrial release, so
It
I
looks
have.
like the CAFIA says court-ordered pretrial release, doesn't it?
It does, Your Honor, but based on the admin order, pretrial neglect of a child usually would not qualify. That's crimes against child, but since PTR is on the warrant, it's at your discretion if you want to leave it or not.
So I thought, okay,
If I may, Your Honor.
let me hear from state to see where they want to go with this. Yes, ma'am.
As I was saying, Your Honor, as she appears not to qualify for pretrial release, I was going to say I have no objection to a $1,000 bond.
All right. Ms. Glover Gamble, is that a bond that she can afford?
Yes, Your Honor, and I've had a discussion with the state. There's just one term that I would like to speak further with the court about.
Okay, give me just a moment. State,
Okay.
can you give me a brief factual basis, noting that this is broadcasted, so keep the name of the child off record? Deleted from your factual?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm having surround sound conversations. What did you say?
I need a factual basis, but because we're being broadcasted, please leave the name of the child, the identity of the child out of this. I know this happened on or about October 23rd. And I have the information, but I need a factual basis in order to agree to a bond.
Does it make a difference that an information has already been filed?
Well, for factual basis reasons, yes, because then I have to consider what to set as the bond. Since you're asking for 1,000, or she's asking for 1,000, yes, it is relevant.
Okay, 1 moment, Your Honor.
I understand PC has already been found. There's a big fly.
On October 23rd, 2021, law enforcement responded to 1093 Welch Hill Circle in reference to a battery. The caller advised that a juvenile was on the front porch of the home when an adult came over and struck the child and took him back into a nearby house.
Let's go ahead and approach on this. And I'm going to go on mute for this. I'm gonna grant defense's request. I'll do $1,000 bond plus pretrial release, comply with Department of Children and Families. Anything else, Ms. Clever Gamble? All right, and no weapons. You're not allowed to own any weapons. Weapons need to be surrendered to law enforcement. Thank you, state and defense. What? Weapons to be turned in within 3 hours of release. Aaron Lofton is next. Oh, and I have to recall the other, no, that is Aaron Lofton. Ms. Clever Gamble, I'll have you stand down. Thank you.
Thank you. If they want you to.
Mr. Lofton, you've had a chance to speak with your public defender. State, are you asking that I find proof evident presumption great and hold him at none?
Yes, Your Honor.
And defense counsel, your response on Mr. Lofton.
Your Honor, we reserve our right to have Arthur here.
All right, at the meantime, I'll go ahead and hold him at no bond. You're to have no contact with the co-defendant, no contact with the victim, and not to possess any weapons. Thank you, Mr. Lofton. Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Good morning, good afternoon, sir. Please tell me what your name is.
John Baker.
And you're 18 years old, is that correct? Have you ever been diagnosed with any learning disabilities?
It's ADHD, autism, and destructive in a community environment, and then recently asthma.
So when did you turn 18?
Last year.
Okay, I'm going to appoint a public defender. Is that okay with you? That's a lawyer.
I actually just got off for community service probation a while ago.
I saw that. And sir, what's your name?
My name is Roland Vega.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Roland Vega.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Rolando Vega.
How do you know Mr. Baker?
I'm a group home manager for Devereaux. He lives in a house that's on one campus that we have.
All right. Do you have any affiliation with Lodestone Academy?
I do not.
Okay. State, what are your thoughts? He does have some underlying mental health conditions, is that
He sure
correct?
does. He has some ADHD combined type, disruptive mood, dysregulation disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, autistic disorder, and unspecified intellectual disabilities.
Does he take medication?
Yes, he does.
And how long will it take him to get screened for mental health PTR?
It usually takes a couple of days.
Okay, I'm gonna do straight pretrial release on this case. You're gonna be living back at Devereaux. You need to stay there, okay?
I was actually hoping that.
All right, you have to take oh, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
I did not want to stay here. I'm actually terrified right now, and I've already gone into depression because of my meds. I have gone off my meds since yesterday.
Well, I'm gonna have you released from jail today. Actually, are you okay with straight ROR based on the circumstances, State?
No, Your Honor, I would prefer a pretrial release. I would prefer
You understand that he has a mental health condition?
Yes, Your Honor, and that is part of the reason why I would prefer that someone is monitoring him.
I was gonna actually ask for ROR, Your Honor, in this particular case because of the mental health issues. And based on the arrest affidavit where it appeared he was trying to go home and he kind of had an episode.
Okay, thank you both sides. What's his treatment plan at Devereaux?
Well, we have it here. He has an extensive one. He has a behavior analyst that's on call 24/7. He has constant supervision at the group home.
All right, and you feel safe with him returning to Devereaux?
Absolutely.
Where are his parents or guardians?
They're not involved.
Okay, so you've been living in state custody for a while? Okay.
Since my adopted parents, my adopted dad gave me back in foster care at 12 years old. They gave me up without me even knowing. They just should have stopped taking care of me, picking me up. They should have abandoned me in a SIP program.
Hold on just one moment. I'm going to talk to the gentleman from Devereaux. What's his education plan?
Well, again, I was sent here today. I'm not exactly sure what the process is.
No, if he's not allowed back at the scene of the crime because the victim works there.
Then we would have to find him another school.
Okay. John, I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. You have to follow all the rules at Devereaux. You have to take any prescribed medications. Anything that can be used as a weapon, you are not allowed to have, okay?
I'll have to get rid of my nerve.
All right, thank you. PD's appointed.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll arrange for his transport back to Devereaux?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, it's my understanding that the plea that I had set for VOP, Dennis Schaaf is restricted. So, do you know how long he's restricted for?
That dorm has been restricted, for the whole time, so until he moves out of there, he won't be able to come.
As soon as he's moved out, he can't come?
When he moved out.
Let's try to reset him for tomorrow, otherwise I'll put him on my docket next week, because that's one of my cases.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What? Reset to tomorrow. Next up is Larry Odoms. PD's office, it's arraignment. Do you want me to waive his appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
Enter plea of not guilty and give him a pretrial date. Thank you.
Division 62, pretrial conference, March 28th at 8:30, courtroom 12C.
Next up is Daryl Jesus Alman Restalindo. All right, thank you. Kiara Cunningham. State, this is a homeowner victim. Do you want me to decline from making a plea offer at this time?
No, Your Honor, I made an offer of an adjudication of guilt and credit time served.
Okay. And you've checked with the homeowner? This was a squatting situation?
Yes, Your Honor, well,
We're a group squatting, there's damages. Are you Kiara Cunningham?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. You're here for a misdemeanor offense of trespass, 22 MM 92 is the case number. You're also already out on bond or release conditions for charges of grand theft motor vehicle, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of drug paraphernalia. State, let me know about that plea offer.
no, Your Honor, the victim has not been contacted.
So do you want me to decline from making a plea offer?
No, Your Honor, I would still ask for a plea offer.
Okay, the state's offer is an adjudication, credit time served.
Yes, Your Honor, she would like to accept.
All right, what are we doing with the felony that she's out on bond?
Your Honor, she has regional conflict counsel on that one. Because she's pleading, I would just ask that you take no action.
I'll take no action on it. Let me go ahead and do the plea. Ma'am, are you under the influence with any, of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
And can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, I do.
Did you read the plea form? If you agree to the terms, sign it. Do you need a public defender to assist you with your plea?
No, ma'am.
Would you like to accept the state's plea offer of an adjudication credit time served?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how do you plead to the crime of trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance?
No contest.
And do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read this paper that I saw you sign, the plea form?
Yes, I did.
Do you understand you will not have a trial in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this crime, by entering a plea today, your term of probation would be violated. Do you understand that too?
Yes, I do.
All right, based on your plea of no contest, I'll find that you waived your right to counsel. You're accepted. I'll follow the state's recommendation. You're adjudicated guilty, given credit for time served. You owe your court costs by December 31st of 2022. You need to abide by all trespass orders. You're not to return to the scene of the crime or have communications with any of the property owners.
Ms. Davis, can you tell me what the credit time served is, please?
2 days.
Thank you.
Sorry, you just jumped in on that. Okay, the next person I'm addressing is Joseph DeSica? Niseka, sorry I mispronounced that. Sir, you're here for a crime of trespass on property. Again, this was a residential. State, have you talked to the victim?
No, Your Honor.
And do you have an offer?
To withhold of adjudication and credit time served, and no return to the location.
I'm not comfortable taking a plea on this, not without having, and you didn't talk to the victim?
No, Your Honor.
Can he afford a bond of $100?
No, Your Honor. It does not appear that he was screened for pretrial release. It says he was moved. He wasn't able to be screened. Is that correct?
He was interviewed.
Okay. He doesn't qualify.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a plate. He does have some history. I would adjudicate. I would do a 3-day offer and no return.
And how many days does he have?
2.
2. He said yes, Your Honor.
Sir, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now? And can you read, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, so just speak up. Can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the plea form, did you read it while you were in back?
We talked. Your Honor, in this particular case, given that it looks like the last conviction I saw was from 1993, but he has not had anything since then, would you consider the credit time served? He did it in 2 days. It's not a violent offense.
He'll probably be released late this evening, but
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not going to consider just a straight time served offer, considering this is a residence.
Was a,
Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
no, I just want to go home or leave.
Sir, I did see you sign this. Did you read it? I just want to confirm that.
Yes, on it.
And do you understand that we will not have a trial because you want to plea today?
Yep.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea?
Yep.
Do you understand that if you were on probation when you committed this crime by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated?
Correct.
How do you plead to the charge of trespass on property after warning?
No contest.
Did anybody force you to say no contest? Do you understand what it means? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Ma'am.
Do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 3 days with credit for 2, no return to the scene of the crime, no return to that property, no contact with any of those witnesses or victims, and you have to abide by all trespass orders. Pay your court costs by December 31st of 2022. Good luck to you, sir. Next case is Lisa Nicole Denise Jackson. Are you Miss Jackson, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Miss Jackson, you're here for a charge of engaging in public nudity. I do find probable cause. The offer in your case is, State, do you have an offer?
Withhold and credit time served.
Okay, I would follow that recommendation, withhold time served. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case?
No, but I am confused. What does that mean, time served?
Excuse me?
I'm a little confused as to what time served means.
Time served means if you accept the pleas, you've been in jail basically for over 24 hours. So you would be released today. You would have a jail record that shows that you did a jail sentence of 2 days.
Okay, yes.
But it would end your case. You would owe court cost of $279, or $274 rather. Do you want a lawyer from the public defender's office?
No.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on?
No, Your Honor.
Can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm gonna you'll be handed a plea form in just a moment. Can I see the face sheet for Lugo Montano? That should be the next one. All right, so, did you read the paper that the attorney has?
I did, Your Honor.
And if you agree to the terms, go ahead and sign it. Thank you. Ms. Jackson, do you understand that we will not have a trial?
Yes.
If you were on probation anywhere in the world at the time you committed this offense, which was yesterday, allegedly, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated. Do you understand that?
Yes.
If you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you plead to the crime of public nudity? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
No contest means you're not admitting or denying the charge. You just feel it's in your best interest to finish your case. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for time served, pay your court costs by December 31st of 2022, and you'll start to get processed out shortly.
All right, thank you.
No, she waived. And then she waived her public defender. Sir, what is your name? What happened to Daenerys Lugo Montano? All right, thank you. Sir, you're here for 2 charges of battery in case 22 MM1215. You do have a bond, a total of $600. I find probable cause. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I'll stay the bonds. Next case up is Michael Post.
You want to no contact with the victims?
Sure, no contact with any victims and no return, can I see that? And possess no weapons. Michael Post is next. Mr. Post, you're here for a charge of loitering and prowling. I do find probable cause. I'm going to stay your bond at $500. In the alternative, if you would like to enter a plea, the offer is an adjudication in 4 days, and that's based on your history. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? 22 MM1233. He has 2 days, and he has a hold out of Brevard County.
Yes, Your Honor, he would like to accept.
Sir, how do you plead to the charge of loitering and prowling? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And do you need a public defender to help you with your charges?
No.
And can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you consumed any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, ma'am.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this offense, do you understand your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea?
Yes.
In front of you is a plea form. If you've already read it and agree to it, go ahead and sign it. Thank you.
Your Honor, he actually only has 1 day.
Okay, I'll modify it. Did I do 4 days? I'll do a 3-day sentence. I'll modify it to a 3-day sentence. All right, so you're pleading no contest to the charge of loitering, prowling. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. At this time, I'll go ahead and adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 3 with credit for 1 day time served, no return to the scene of the crime, and pay your court costs by December 31st of this year. And I'll find you waived your right to counsel. Next person up is Colin Smith. Mr. Smith, you're here for a new charge of trespass on property after warning. It occurred at Disney. The offer would be an adjudication in 2 days, credit time served, with any credit for time served, but I do see it would violate his probation. Would you like to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll take no action on the VOP, but keep in mind there might be a warrant for your arrest coming down the pipe. I'll stay the bond on the trespass at $500. Is he gonna be able to afford that bond, or do you want me to?
Yes, he can bond out, Your Honor.
Okay. The next case up is Jessica Delermy.
Your Honor, are you going to do a no condition, no return?
There's already a trespass order in place. Thank you. Ms. Delermy, just stand by. So I'm inclined to do a time-served offer on this case for prostitution with the failure to appear. There are some statutory requirements, which includes HIV, STD testing, awareness program, as well as no return to the mapping zone. Can you inquire as to whether or not she's done the HIV, STD awareness course and testing?
Yes, Your Honor, she says she's done all her testing.
All right, if you get, what about at the court? Okay, so just a straight no return. I'm gonna need some testimony, and I'll sentence her to time served if she can testify that she's already done that. And the case was from 2018. That was pre-COVID, where they had those things available in the jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. I'll have you sworn in. What's your time served?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No, I'm not on anything, ma'am.
And can you read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, I can.
Do you understand that by entering a plea, your probation would be violated if you were on probation back in 2018?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
In front of you is a plea form. Did you read it and understand it?
Yes, I understand.
If you agree to the terms, go ahead and sign it. All right, for the record, she signed it in open court. Ma'am, how do you plead to the charge of prostitution? Guilty?
No content.
Okay, and did anybody force you to say no contest?
And you're on, oh, sorry.
Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, no, no.
And did your attorney explain what that meant?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, at this time, you'll be adjudicated guilty, sentenced to credit, time served. You also owe your court cost on this matter, payable by December 31st of this year. Do you when you were arrested back in 2018, did you take the HIV STD awareness class? You'll need to answer out loud.
Yes.
And since between that date and today, have you been tested for sexually transmitted diseases and HIV?
I think she has a hard time hearing. Your
Yeah,
Honor.
I do. I have ear infection.
So I have this.
Go ahead, why don't you ask and inquire, she's your client. Go ahead and question her so I can hear its testimony.
Hold on. When was the last time you had an HIV STD test?
It was just a month ago when I went to the doctor's office. My primary care.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a finding that she's complied with the statutory requirement for STD, HIV classes and testing. No return to the prostitution mapping zone for a period of 6 months. We'll release you on these charges today. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Oh, how am I gonna get back home?
Patrick Lytle is next.
Excuse me, Judge, I just have a question. 'Cause they told me to ask. They transported me way up here from Broward Boulevard, and when I get out, I have no way back home. I have no contact, no phone. I have no way to get back down home.
You'll need to reach out to social services or family or friends. Perhaps they can give you some support.
I have none.
Okay, maybe your attorney can get you in touch with their social security, social services. State, what's the offer on Lytle?
The withhold of adjudication, credit time served, no return to Lake Eola Park, located at 512 East Washington Street. There was also a cost of investigation of $39 to Orlando Police Department.
All right, thank you. Are you Mr. Lytle?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lytle, you missed your court date for a charge of trespass. You do have a bond amount of $1,000. If you would like to resolve your case, it's a no return, applicable cost, and a time served sentence. You would be adjudicated guilty. Would you like to accept that offer?
Yes, ma'am. No contest.
All right, do you need a public defender?
I think we're already appointed.
Okay, oh, wait, hold on a second.
It's our client, I believe, Your Honor.
Give me a moment. I'll check that. Just a moment. You're already appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, how do you plead to the charge of trespass? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest, Your Honor.
And do you know what no contest means?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anybody forced you to say no contest?
No, Your Honor.
The plea form is, did you read it when you were in back?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you agree to the terms, go ahead and sign it if you haven't already. Did you sign it, sir?
I did. Yes, Your Honor.
If you were on probation at the time you committed this crime by entering a plea today, do you understand that your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I have the signed plea form in front of me. I'll go ahead and follow the recommendations. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to credit time served.
Yes,
No
4
return,
days.
what, 4 days. No return to Lake Eola Park, abide by all trespass orders. You owe $39 to Orlando Police Department as cost of investigation plus court costs. All of that is due no later than December 31st of this year. Mr. Lytle, do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Your case is over. You'll be released on these charges. State is the next one, a time served offer as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, what is your name?
My name is Walla Youtube.
You missed your court date for a charge of trespass. You do have a bond. It's $1,000. If you would like to enter a plea today, the offer is a time-served offer. You would be convicted and not allowed to return to the scene of the crime. Do you need time to speak with your lawyer? No.
And we are appointed on this one. I can't recall.
I'm double checking. Yes, you are. Sir, how do you plead to the charge of trespass? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Not guilty, sir.
Not guilty?
I got a permit on that.
You missed your appointment, so that's why you're,
Well, where the court, where I gonna go to the court?
you missed your court date, that's why you were arrested. And this occurred over at Sky House?
I take no contest.
So you're playing no contest. Did anybody force you to say no contest?
No.
And do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by playing to this crime? Do you understand that if you were on probation when you committed this offense, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated? Do you understand that? All right, and you signed this paper, the plea form, is that correct?
He said he already signed it, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for acknowledging that. At this time, I'll go ahead. Did he, I'm sorry, I lost my face sheet. Does he have priors?
He has one prior conviction of urinating or defecating.
Okay.
In
All right,
public.
I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to credit time served. You cannot go back to that place, Sky House Apartments. You owe court costs plus $104.02 cost of investigation to the police department. Pay it all by December 31st of 2022. Good luck to you, sir. You'll be released today.
I
Yeah.
live in a shelter.
You can go back to a shelter if you're allowed there. You can't go back to that building, though. The next person is Nathaniel Jones. Are you Mr. Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jones, you're here for possession of alcohol on a sidewalk. Your bond is $250. I find probable cause. If you would like to resolve this case today, the offer is adjudication, time served, and you would owe court costs. Do you need a lawyer to help you with your case, Mr. Jones?
I don't need a lawyer, but I want to.
You want a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
With or without a lawyer?
Without a lawyer.
Okay. How do you plead to the charge of possession of alcohol on public street? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And did anybody force you to say no contest?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand what no contest means?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand that if you were on probation when you committed this offense yesterday, by entering a plea today, your term of probation would be violated?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll go ahead. In front of you is a plea form. Did you read it when you were back?
Yes, ma'am.
For the record, he signed it in open court. I'll proceed to sentencing. You're adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served. Pay your court costs by December 31st of this year, and you'll be processed out on this charge. The next person is Grant Whipple. Give me a moment, Mr. Whipple. Can you inquire as a friend of the court and let me know if probation is going to be an issue?
Oh. No, Your Honor.
Sir, you're here for a charge of driving with license suspended with knowledge. You missed your court date and you're currently being held at no bond. Let me take a look at something. If you would like to accept a plea offer, the adjudication is 4 days and you have credit for 2.
Yes.
All right. Do you want to proceed with an attorney or without an attorney?
That's fine.
How do you plead to the offense of driving with license suspended with knowledge? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
And do you understand what no contest means? Did anybody force you to say no contest? Do you understand that driving with license suspended is an enhanceable offense? If you commit a future act of driving with license suspended, you can face a 10-day jail sentence. Do you understand that? Do you understand you're on the verge of being designated a habitual traffic offender?
I'm doing classes right now, actually.
If you commit a future act of driving with license suspended, do you understand that you could be charged with a felony? Excuse me? Do you understand that? If you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea today. Do you understand that? If you were on probation when you committed this crime, by entering a plea, your terms of probation would be violated. Do you understand that as well? All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and find that you've waived your right to counsel. You've entered a plea of no contest. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 4 days in the county jail with 2 days credit. That's 2, correct?
Yes.
2 days credit for time served. You owe your court cost no later than December 31st of this year. And All right, in order to get a valid license, you're gonna need to get a D6 clearance on this case. So I'll go ahead and do a D6 clearance on this matter, waiving any late fees. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm bringing you back to the main building. D6 clearance, waive late fee. I caught that look. Good morning, good afternoon. Can you start by telling me what your name is?
Jennifer Bradley.
All right, when you booked, there was some issues with your bond. They logged in the wrong number, so I'm letting you know that, your bond amounts. You're here for some trafficking and drug charges. Do you know if you need a public defender to help you with your case? I'll go ahead and appoint one. You're here in case number 2022 CF2133AO. Here's what I'm going to do. I find probable cause. On count 1, I'm staying the bond at $250,000. On counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all remaining counts, I'm setting bond at $150. Subsidiary bond. You're not to possess, use, or consume any illegal drugs. You're also not allowed to have any weapons. If you do any weapons, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. Anything else, defense counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The next case I'm addressing is Darian Brown. He has 4 cases. Are you Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown, you're on probation, and I find probable cause for the following offenses that I'll tell you what the charges are. Based on being on probation, I'm going to hold you at no bond. Do you need a public defender to help you with your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the public defender. Case number 2022 MM1221. You were arrested for possession of cannabis. I find probable cause. I'll modify your bond to $100. In case 21 CF16019AO, I find probable cause for fleeing and attempting to elude. You are entitled to a bond on that matter. So I'm going to set that bond at $5,000. In case number 2021 CF15679AO, this is for a date of fleeing and attempting to elude on or about October 14th. I'm going to set that bond at $10,000. In case number 2022 CT1075AO, you're here for a charge of driving with license suspended, and I'll modify that bond to $100.
Your Honor, on the second, fleeing and attempting to elude, how much did you set the bond?
The one that happened on October 19th,
Yes.
that case number is 15679. That bond is $5,000.
And then you did an on-view violation, Your Honor?
I did.
Thank you.
Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
There has already been an on-view VOP.
And he's at no
Place.
bond, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That he'll be seen on tomorrow.
Can we take him off docket since I already addressed it?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll just address it. We already have it?
No, I don't have
Oh,
it. So
I'll
it's
just
already
address
been
it tomorrow. Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I ask a question?
You may, but keep in mind all of your statements are being recorded and can be used against you.
Yes. I just want to know how long these warrants been active.
Can I see the paperwork again? So there were 2 allegations of fleeing and attempting to elude where probable cause was found. They both occurred back in October, and the judge signed the warrant on December 15th, on or about December 15th. Thank you. Can I see if, what's your last name?
Muniz.
Okay, give me one moment. What happened to McGarty Chisholm? Did he bond?
What's the booking number, Your Honor?
Booking number is, I remember this. 22-004300.
They bonded.
Bonded? Okay, thank you. State I have a PC issue on this one.
I did as well.
Sir, what is your name? You're Mr. Colon Munoz?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. I'm addressing two charges. Your new arrest in case 2022 CF 2096. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied structure as well as loitering and prowling. I find PC for the burglary. State, can you give me some info on the loitering and prowling?
I was at Checkers eating.
She said there's no PC. We don't need to say anything right now.
I guess it would be him walking through the parking lot swinging the machete, Your Honor.
And if I may, Your Honor.
Hold on just one moment. And he's also out on bond and ROR for other charges. So keep that in mind, and the PD's office already represents him. Let me check that L&P. All right, I reversed myself. It's stages for a learning point takes flight upon appearance of a law enforcement officer. That's one of the grounds for loitering and prowling based on the jury instruction and the statute. So I reversed myself on the loitering and prowling PC. So I'll stay the bond at $3,500 for the burglary, and I'll stay the bond in the L&P. No return to the scene of the crime. I'm inclined to take no action in case 21 CF 16148 AO since there has been no decision made on filing. And then he also has case number 21 CF 16149 AO for possession of anti-shoplifting and control device and petty theft. Defense, do you want to be heard on that? He has a PD.
Yes, Your Honor. Based on what I'm seeing, I don't believe an information has been filed in that case as well. So I'd ask that you take no action.
What says the state?
No objection.
All right, I'll take no action on that either. Thank you.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, what was the bond amount for the loitering and prowling?
100. I'm staying both those bonds. The next person is Jamal Dean. Mr. Dean, good afternoon. You're here for felony charge, case 2022 CF 2140 AO for possession of a controlled substance. I do find probable cause, I'm going to, that case was, I do find probable cause for that, and that I'll stay the bond at $1,000. You're also here in case number 22 MM93AA, charges for trespass as well as possession or use of drug paraphernalia. I'll modify both of those bonds to $100 with a no return condition. Do you need a public defender to help you with your cases? I'll appoint the public defender. Counsel, based on the prior offers for the co-defendants, I'll give you a plea offer on the MM case. Are you interested?
Yes, Your Honor.
Adjudication, 5 days, credit for 2.
Yes, Your Honor. He would like to accept.
All right, wait, something just caught my eye. He's also, has a warrant
Let me see if you, do you have a bond?
in case 21 CF 15337AO, so that should be executed. And then he has another county court case, 2022 CT 1076AE. Oh, you have an attorney, right, in that case? No,
He's a PD.
I see that you have attorney Rachel Maddie for that.
Oh, private counsel.
No, it's a public defender. His name is Darius Thompson.
Maybe that's for, it's showing Rachel Maddie.
Oh, I'm not
He's a
sure.
private attorney with Umansky's law firm.
Oh, okay. Because I know Jace is a PD, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's a PD. So let's go ahead. I can't address that one because it's showing he is a private attorney. Do you want me to do a plea on the trespass and drug paraphernalia charge?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to accept that.
Sir, do you know what guilty, no contest, and not guilty mean?
Yeah.
And are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now? How do you plead to the charge of trespass?
No contest.
And how do you plead to the charge of possession of drug paraphernalia? Do you understand if you were on probation when you committed these offenses, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you are not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea? Based on your no contest pleas, we will not be having a trial. Do you understand that? Okay, if you've read the plea form and agree to it, go ahead and sign it. Yeah, on both.
Sorry.
All right, I do have a signed plea form, and I observed him sign in open court. I'll accept pleas of no contest on both these misdemeanor charges. At this time, you're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to 5 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You owe court costs no later than December 31st of 2022. Are you going to be able to afford that bond for your drug charge?
How much is it, 100?
It's 1,000, you'll have to post 100.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll take no action on your other cases. There might be that warrant.
It is
however.
a warrant, Your Honor. I see it. Just wait.
Sources is behavior, Your Honor.
You can go.
Oh, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
In case he does have a warrant, he missed his court date in front of Judge Roach. I think that's where Mr. Thompson is an attorney at. So he missed his court date. So there's a capias on him.
Yes, Your Honor. I told him there was no bond.
All right, thank you. Ruben, you said Ruben DeSource was a refusal? Behavior. He already has a public defender. He'll be held on his case at no bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Michael Thibu. Good afternoon, sir. You're here for case number 2022 CF 2138AO. You're here for a charge of burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein. I do find probable cause. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case? State, do you want to be heard on release conditions? He has no priors.
Yes, Your Honor. Burglary of a dwelling with an assault or battery therein is a first-degree felony punishable by life. However, based on his history and his age, the facts of the case, I have no objection if the court wishes to use its discretion.
You want to be heard on monetary bond?
No, Your Honor.
State, defense.
No, Your Honor, I just asked that you take into consideration his community ties and history.
I don't have his community ties, except that he lives across the hall or in the same apartment complex from the alleged victim.
It's on the former states he's lived in the Orlando area for over a year.
Yeah, it doesn't say. Okay, are you still in school?
Yes, ma'am.
At Aloma High School?
Yes, ma'am.
What year are you there?
Senior.
And how long have you lived in Orlando?
I've lived in Orlando since I was 8 years old.
Okay, who do you live with at your apartment? Your who?
My mother.
Okay. I'm going to give you a bond amount. Your bond in this case is going to be $5,000. You're to have no contact with the victims of this case. Do you live across the hall from them? No contact with them whatsoever. That includes the entire family. You're not to possess any weapons. If you do own any weapons, they need to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. All right, thank you, Mr. Fivo. The next case is Luis Javier Felix Ramirez. Are you Mr. Felix Ramirez? No, this is Mr. Fight. Okay, what happened to Felix Ramirez? Okay, I'll take him. Are you Mr. Fight? No. I'll take Felix Ramirez since he's right there. Mr. Felix Ramirez, it's my understanding you already have a public defender helping you with your case. Is that correct?
Can you repeat it again?
Do you have a lawyer already?
I'm supposed to have a lawyer when
2016 CF 1443980. Sir, you're here for 6 counts of failure to appear. He has attorney Felix Felicier.
Yes, he was my attorney.
That was on the original case.
Yes.
All right. You'll need to contact him and let him know that you're in jail. You're being held at no bond for 2 counts of sexual battery, 2 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, as well as 1 count of possession and dissemination of obscene material to a minor. You'll remain at no bond status, no contact with anybody under the age of 18, and not to possess any weapons. Please contact your attorney and let him know that you're in jail in this case. You're welcome, sir. Tyler Fight, sorry about the confusion. You're here in case number 2022 CF 213080. You were arrested and I find probable cause for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, as well as armed trespass in a structure. Mr. Fight, do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'll appoint a public defender. I'll stay the bonds, no return to the scene of the crime, and no contact with any victims or witnesses. Carl Ford is next. Are you Mr. Ford?
Aye.
Mr. Ford, you were arrested for burglary of a conveyance as well as criminal mischief. I find probable cause for these charges. Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender. I'll stay the bond on count 1, modify the bond on count 2 to $150. No contact with any of the witnesses or victims.
It's my bond.
$3,650 total. The next case number is 2022 CF 10075AO. Are you Mr. Frazier?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Frazier, do you know if you already have a lawyer helping you?
Do I know?
Yes.
No, I don't know. Not at all.
Okay, you do have a public defender. You missed your court date for the charge of battery on an EMS worker or other emergency worker. So your bond is now being, I'll stay the bond at no bond. The next person is David Harden.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Harden, it looks like you're out on bond or release conditions in case number 2020 CF 12745, your defendant B in that matter, for racketeering and 2 counts of possession of methamphetamines. Give me a moment to check that. And it looks like you have a private attorney, Enid Bano, in that matter. So he'll stay on that case. You're here for a new charge in case number 2022 CF 211880 for failure to register as a sexual offender. Do you want a public defender for that case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender in that matter. I'll modify your bond to $2,500. You do have reporting requirements. Within 2 business days of being released from jail, you need to comply with the sex offender reporting requirements. Since you're already out on bond, I need to address that case. I'm going to revoke your release, forfeit any original bond, and on all those charges, you'll be held at no bond. Please let Mr. Bano know that you're incarcerated on a new charge. Aquarius Ugly. Good afternoon, sir. You're here for old cases. Give me a moment to pull them up. State, what's the filing position? What's the status of the cases where he's already out on bond? 21 CF 1627AO.
There's a competency hearing set for May 24th, Your Honor.
Is that on both cases? I'm going to find that the defendant has violated his conditional release conditions in 2021 CF 1627 and 2020 CF 6927. He'll be held at no bond, notify the division that he's incarcerated. He is entitled to bond, and I find probable cause in 2022 CF 2098. Based on prior competency findings, I'm going to sua sponte appoint the public defender.
I believe on the out on bond is showing me a different attorney, Your Honor. It says...
Mark Counselo, Regional Conflict?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, I understand that, but
Okay.
on the new case, I'm appointing the public defender because of alleged, because of competency issues. So I'm going to set bond at $5,000 in the fleeing and attempting to elude, and stay the bond on the carrying a concealed firearm.
Your Honor, I would argue since he's incompetent to take no action, he's been deemed incompetent to proceed, and he doesn't meet the requirements of commitment.
I agree with that, but in part, but he is on conditional release, and one of the conditions is no new law violations. That could be taken up with the division.
And you said 150 on the carrying a concealed firearm, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am. On Ms. Hyatt's case, I'll appoint a public defender. She is a charge of petty theft with 2 priors. I find probable cause. I'll stay the bond. Are you waiving her appearance, defense counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next case,
Your Honor, I ask for no return.
no return. Thank you. Deshaun Love is the next litigant. So, Mr. Love, you have a number of cases where you're out on bond for. And then you have new charges. Do you want a public defender for your new charges?
You gotta answer a question.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. He has 27. All right, you're here for charges of possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent, possession of cannabis with intent to sell or distribute, fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer, as well as possession of cannabis. I do find probable cause for those charges. I'm going to go ahead and set the following bonds on those. I'll stay on count 1, possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent. I'll stay that bond. On the possession of cannabis with intent to distribute, I'll modify to 150. On the fleeing or attempting to elude, 150. And the possession of cannabis, 150. You're to have, you're not to possess any firearms or any illegal drugs. Defense counsel, on 2022 CF1AO, he has a charge of possession of hydrocodone. He was just released earlier this year, so I'll go ahead and hold him at no bond on that, revoking his original bond. In case number 2021 CF5721AO, he has charges of possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent, 2 counts of possession of ammunition by a convicted delinquent. I'm revoking his bond and holding him at no bond. Finally, there's misdemeanor case number 2022 MM2AO for resisting officer without violence. If he would like to accept a plea on that, the offer is an adjudication time served.
On the misdemeanor, Your Honor?
Yes, for resisting.
You want to do it?
Your Honor, on the new law case, I would also ask for no contact with co-defendants.
He's being held at no bond, so.
Your Honor, he would like to accept that one.
All right, sir, how do you plead to the charge of resisting officer without violence? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
No contest.
Do you understand what no contest means? Has anybody forced you to say no contest? Have you consumed any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now? Go ahead and read the plea form. Once you've agreed to the terms, please sign it. He's like 29 days in on
Yes,
resisting, right? Okay. And State, I'll follow up on that, the co-defendant issue, just a moment. So you read this plea form and you signed it, is that correct? And you're entering a plea of no contest, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anybody force you to say no contest? Do you understand that if you were on probation at the time you committed this offense on December 31st, by entering a plea today, your terms of probation would be violated? Do you understand that? And if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea today. Do you understand that? Counsel, can I get your signature on this? Your office was appointed previously on the MM case. All right, I'll go ahead and accept your plea of no contest. You're being adjudicated guilty, sentenced to time served of 29 days on that misdemeanor offense. You owe your court costs by December 31st of 2022. Mr. Love, the state has asked that you have no contact with Mr. Chisholm or Mr. Stewart. Is there any legal reason you need to be in contact with them? Are they related to you, or do you live together? Defense, I'll give you a moment to speak with your client.
I'm sorry.
Can you say their names one more time, Your Honor?
Mr. Chisholm and Mr. Stewart, are they roommates or related?
His brothers, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to overrule the state's request. Thank you.
Thank you. And Your Honor, on his out on bonds, would you please revoking and
I'll decline that request. Willie Montoya is next. Are you Mr. Montoya?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here for felony charges. The case number is 2022 CF 13080. You're facing charges of attempted second-degree murder. You were arrested for attempted second-degree murder, as well as aggravated battery with a firearm. Do you want a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, please.
I'll go ahead and appoint a public defender. Probable cause has been found. State what's your position on bonds on counts 1 and 2.
I'll leave it at the discretion of the court, Your Honor.
Are you seeking that he be held at no bond?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would just ask that given, could you let me talk, please? Given his lack of criminal history, I see a driving offense. I would ask that you consider setting a bond in this case. Yes.
How long has he lived in? I'll consider that, but what are his ties to the community?
Mr. Montoya, how long have you lived in Florida?
For a year and a half, a year and 3 months to be exact.
And currently, where are you staying?
I am staying at the full address, 608 North Cimarron Boulevard in Winter Park.
Do you work?
Yes, I have a full-time job. I'm a full-time mechanic, and I have a side business.
Okay, and do you have any family members that live here?
No family members, but I do have people that are willing to help if needed.
Corrections, I'm showing that he's a multi-state offender. Can you give me some background?
One moment, Your Honor.
Sorry for keeping you on hold. I just want to make sure I'm getting some information from corrections.
Your Honor.
He has, I guess it was the arrest that brought him here. A fugitive from justice arrest out of Georgia on February the 4th of 2022. And then he has history out of New York. His last arrest was in 2016 for obstruction of governmental administration and harassment, but it does not give any disposition.
Was he picked up in Georgia?
He was, Your Honor. He was extradited.
Your Honor, if I may, as to that.
Yes.
They were out. He was out there purchasing a vehicle with his girlfriend. That's why.
All right. So I'm hearing a lot of discrepancies. I'm hearing that he was picked up and transported out of Cobb County, Georgia. The address that's on his booking paperwork versus the address that he gave are different. And his ties to the community, his job, was also one of the basis for the alleged shooting, and there were 2 people shot. So on the attempted second-degree murder, I'm going to set bond at $150,000. On the aggravated battery, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $50,000. You're to have no contact with any victims or witnesses. It sounds like your girlfriend is a witness, so no contact there. And you're not supposed to have any weapons. If you do want any, they have to be surrendered to law enforcement within 3 hours of your release. Corey Carson Osborne. Are you Mr. Osborne? You're here for a counterfeit plate or vehicle sticker, as well as a charge of driving with license suspended or revoked.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need a public defender to help you with your case? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and find probable cause for both of these offenses. On the counterfeit license, I'm gonna modify your bond to $1,000. I'll stay the bond on the driving with license suspended. Oh, actually, let me modify that to $100. But the PD's office can help you. Your total bond is $1,100. Daniel Reagan is next. Mr. Reagan, you're here for a charge of grand theft motor vehicle. Do you need a public defender, a lawyer to help you with your case?
Yes, ma'am. If I could just say, this is
I'll appoint the public defender. He qualifies for pretrial release, or I can do monetary bond. State, what's your position on that?
No objection to pretrial release, Your Honor.
Okay, let me know if he wants PTR or straight monetary.
Wants a pretrial release, Your Honor.
Sir, I'm going to go ahead and put you on pretrial release for this charge. You're to have no contact with the owner of the vehicle. The next person is Traymon Stewart. You're welcome, sir. This is one of the co-defendant cases. Are you Mr. Stewart?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Stewart, do you need a public defender to help you with your charges?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender in case number 2022 CF 2145. You were arrested for a charge of possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent. In that case, you are entitled to a monetary bond. I'll stay the bond at $5,000 with the condition that you possess no weapons or ammunition. In case number 2021 CF 15291AO, you're out on bond on carrying a concealed firearm, possession of a firearm by a convicted delinquent or felon, possession of ammunition by a convicted delinquent or felon, resisting officer without violence, and possession of cannabis. I'm revoking your release on all of those charges, and you'll be held at no bond, and that already is a public defender case. Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Robert Toro is next. Corrections, I have a number of cases for Mr. Toro. I'm only doing 2022 CF 2120. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, sir, you're here for charges of introduction of contraband into a detention facility, as well as unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Do you need a public defender to help you with those charges?
No, ma'am. I have Jonathan Mills representing me at this time.
Mr. Mills has not filed any paperwork, so I'll go ahead and stay the bonds on this matter, and you're to have no contact with the co-defendant.
Your Honor, he states he doesn't know who the co-defendant is.
I wonder why he did that. Let me just check to see what Judge Tynan did. I don't have the affidavit on it, but probable cause was found, and that was one of the conditions. Thank you, sir. Let Mr. Mills know that you've been arrested on these. Jackson Youngblood? Thank you. Are you Mr. Youngblood?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Youngblood, do you want a public defender to help you with your charges for failure to register as a sex offender?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I have a hearing problem.
You were arrested for failure to report as a sex offender. Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case?
No, that's wrong.
Do you want a lawyer to help you with your case? Yes?
No, what I was arrested for, if I may speak, Your Honor, is the fact that I didn't change my address on my driver's license.
Which is part of your registration requirements to update your driver's license.
Right.
Do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
No, ma'am.
All right, your bond is $1,000. You also have to report as a sex offender within 2 business days of your release. Thank you, sir. Eugene Young, 2022 CF 2149. Are you Mr. Young?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Young, do you need a public defender to help you with your case?
Yes, I would like one.
I'll go ahead and appoint the services of the public defender. I do find probable cause. I will go ahead and stay the bond. Your total bond is $5,200. Jose Christian Miea Ocampo. Is that a Spanish interpreter case? Yes. Okay, let me call interpreters on.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Theodore Leal, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has been previously sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Leal. Can you please do a sound check with the headsets?
One moment, Your Honor.
Sí.
Interpreter is connected now, Your Honor. Thank you.
2022 CT 1073AO. Is your name Jose Christian Miea Ocampo?
Yes.
Sir, you were arrested for a crime of no valid driver's license. Your bond is $500. If you would like to enter a plea and close your case today, I would adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to time served, and you would have to pay your court costs of $301. Mr. Mejia, do you want a lawyer from the public defender's office to help you with your case?
No.
How do you plead to the crime of no valid driver's license? Guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
O sea, no culpable.
Uh,
Sí, culpable.
yes, guilty.
I'll accept your plea of guilty. Sir, are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or medication that's affecting your ability to understand what's going on right now?
No.
No.
And do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, you will be subject to deportation by entering a plea to this crime?
Okay.
Okay.
If you were on probation when you committed this offense, by entering a plea, your probation would be violated. Do you understand that?
¿Sí me lo puede explicar otra vez? No sé.
If you could explain that to me again, please.
Does he have a Spanish plea form in front of him? If you were on probation for any past crimes, a judge would have told you to check in once a month or more to a probation officer. If you have to do that, that means you're likely on probation. If you have no criminal history, you may not be on probation. However, if you are on probation by pleading to a criminal charge, your probation would be violated. Do you understand that?
Oh, ok. Sí, porque lo que sé que quizás sí estoy en una prueba.
Well, the thing is that I know that I may be on probation.
Was that for no valid driver's license in the past? Because I think
No,
that case is over.
no, Reinao.
Oh.
Estoy en la prueba. Ya estoy en la prueba ahorita.
I'm on probation now.
You are on probation?
Ah,
Or you don't
O
know?
sea, es que no puedo entender, ¿me entiendes? Porque, o sea, ya he sido arrestado ya muchas cosas y ahorita ando en la calle, ¿me entiendes? Y eso, o sea, no sé, y quizás yo estaba pasando una prueba ahorita, no sé por qué caso, ¿me entiendes? Porque sí, yo tuve un delito anteriormente, pero ya día.
Well, the thing is, well, I don't understand quite clearly. That is, I mean, I have been arrested for many things in the past, and so I've been out. I've been at liberty. So I believe that I was on some type of probation, but for which case I don't really know.
So I'm looking at, I don't know what happened all over the place, but I can tell you in Orange County, you're not on probation. You are on a payment plan.
Okay. Bueno.
Okay, good.
All right, so I'll proceed to sentencing. Are you, corrections, is that a Spanish plea form? In front of you is a paper. It's written in Spanish. Did you read it while you were in back? Did he play guilty?
No.
Mm.
Una pregunta, si yo me opongo.
I have a question. What if I say no contest?
Okay, I'll accept a plea of no contest. It means you're not admitting it.
Está bien, porque... Ok, está bien. Sí, porque que la verdad
Okay,
que...
fine.
I'll accept your plea of no contest. I'll adjudicate you guilty. You'll be released today from jail, but you have to pay your court costs by December 31st of this December 31st of 2022.
Ok, está bien.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you. The next person I'm addressing is Osvaldo Contreras. (2022 CF 2116). Is your name Mr. Osvaldo Alva Contreras?
Correcto.
Correct.
You were arrested for 3 counts of sexual battery on a child between the ages of 12 and 17 by a person over 18. Sir, do you want a lawyer from the Public Defender's Office to help you with your case?
No, por ahora me quiero representar solo.
For the time being, I will represent myself.
Okay. And sir, what kind of legal training do you have?
No.
No.
And state, are you seeking that he be held, this is the government I'm talking to, are you asking that he be held at no bond status?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Alva Contreras, I want you to keep in mind that the state is asking that you be held at no bond until your next court date. Do you know how to file documents to get a hearing in front of a judge?
No tengo idea.
I have no idea.
And what's the highest grade that you finished in school?
Soy Soy mexicano, sé leer y escribir. Estudié la secundaria, que sería la high school aquí, pero es muy diferente.
Well, I'm Mexican. I know how to read and write, and I completed high school in Mexico, but it's quite different there.
I understand that it's quite different. But do you know how to represent yourself either in Mexico or here with legal training?
No.
No?
Are you sure you do not want a lawyer to help you with your case?
Creo que escuchando todo eso preferiría así a tratar de agarrar un abogado.
After hearing all that, I think I would rather have a lawyer.
Okay, I'll appoint a public defender. PD's office and state, can you approach?
Yes, sure.
Want to make sure we're all on the same page. I have probable cause for 1 count of sexual battery on a child. You'll be held at no bond status. I find no probable cause for counts 2 and 3. State, do you want me to reset this case so you can perfect probable cause?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's just as to counts 2 and 3?
Yes,
We'll see you back tomorrow. And you do have a lawyer who can assist you with your case. Thank you, sir. Oh, yeah. I don't, Mr. Interpreter, the next defendant may not speak fluent Spanish. I'm not sure what dialect. He may be from Guatemala, so I'll keep that in mind. Case 2022, CF 2147. Sir, what is your name?
Gerardo?
Sí.
Do you speak and understand Spanish?
No, hablo español solo. Sí.
No, I don't speak much Spanish. I only speak Chic.
I'm going to have a lawyer help you. You were arrested, and I find probable cause for sexual battery on a child between 12 and 17. You'll be held at no bond. I will reset your case to tomorrow to see if we can get a cheek interpreter, unless defense counsel waives otherwise. In the meantime, no contact, no return, no contact with anybody under the age of 18, and not to consume any drugs or alcohol. Reset for tomorrow for the interpreter, but there is probable cause on and proof evident presumption grade.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State, you're asking that he be held at no bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we get it?
Thank you.
What? Thank you all. I think that's everything for Spanish interpreter. Thank you. You can disconnect.
Welcome, Your Honor.
All right, anything else from corrections or PD's office or state?
Nothing from the state.
Your Honor, on, I just had the form. I don't know what happened to it. The reset for tomorrow, to see if he could be brought, he was restricted for the plea for the violation I can't find my form. I have no idea why. The attorney on his case actually had him sign a plea form, and had it notarized.
Do it.
Okay,
Yeah, give me the case number.
that's what I was looking for my form. I just had it. I don't know if I left it. I was just gonna ask if tomorrow we can do it.
Well, if it's a time served offer,
It is.
let's get him out.
Thank you.
Um,
I just had it.
I do not, do you have my add-on case number that he was restricted? Thank you. All right, case number 2018, MM.
Bond Court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond Court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond Court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.